We may not be the first place you think of when it comes to hockey, but try to convince us it's better anywhere else. This isn't where the game started. It's where it's evolved, where it's been perfected. Tampa Bay hockey. A reflection of our skies on our ice. But greatness must be earned. How hard we work, how much we sacrifice, and how high we reach will define who we are. We weren't born a family, but make no mistake, we are one. United by heart, bound by passion. Every road has led us to this moment. Right now. Now is our time to answer the call. To rise up and ignite the night with a flash of lightning. And shake the earth with the roar of thunder.
Bus in front! Score! Kudrow! Save Vasilevsky! Victor Hedman wins it! Shoots! Johnson
And happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining me. It's Sarina Fazan. Wow. Did that video give you goosebumps watching the Tampa Bay Lightning? I love it. We are ready to go on the record. I am so excited to have my guest here today joining me in the studio, the voice of the Lightning. You hear her all the time, Sonya Bryson-Kirksey. Did I get it right, Sonya?
Yes.
You hear her singing the national anthem, and oh, one of my favorites, joining us remotely, Breseman. Okay, this is Brian's title. I have it in my notes because I don't want to screw it up. Senior Director of Broadcasting, Programming, and Communications. Dude, you're a big deal.
Yeah, that's a little ridiculous. You can just abbreviate it, call it the SDBPC.
Oh my gosh. Well, Brian and I have known each other for a long time. How long have you been with the Lightning, Bri?
I'm going on 20 years, actually.
Awesome, 20 years.
So,
all right.
yeah, it's been a long run.
So I actually, just now, I'm having Sonya walk out of the studio because she's going to a different set, because just like we do with the Lightning games, we've got to kick off on the record with a song, right? I mean, she's not going to sing the national anthem, but Sonya is going to sing for us. And then we'll really start the show.
When you have a real star, on, you need to take advantage of that. You don't want me singing, that's for sure.
I mean, totally. Well, yeah, you and I can attempt to sing, but, you know, we just can't carry it like Sonya. Is she ready to sing? She is. Oh, awesome. All right. Okay, so we're going to have Sonya take it away. What an honor, guys, and a privilege to have Sonya kick off on the record.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber ways of grain, for purple mountains' majesty, above the fruited plain, America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
Wow, that was amazing. Brian, okay, we're going to get her back into the studio, but I feel pretty special that she did that.
Anytime you get to hear Sonya sing, it's a pleasure.
It's awesome.
I have the privilege of getting to hear her most seasons anyway, 41 times plus playoffs. So
she's amazing. But let's talk about you while she gets into the studio. Tell us how you started with the Lightning.
Thank you.
I mean, there's so many people out there, like young kids, young boys, young girls that dream of having a job like yours. So how did you get started?
I think about that until they get there. But no, all kidding aside, I wanted to work in hockey. I played hockey as a kid through college and knew that I wanted to work in the sport. And I was fortunate enough, I sent my resume out. Me and with a little help from my mom, we sent my resume to all the NHL teams, 30 at the time, and was lucky enough to get an internship, an unpaid internship with the Lightning. So I packed up my car and drove down to Tampa. And I still remember driving downtown. One of my friends from college parents lived in Lithia, so we drove down. I remember coming downtown for the first time and driving around the arena. Nukes was still there, and just kind of trying to familiarize myself, the day before I was going into the arena for the first time to start my Lightning career, which at the time I couldn't have foreseen that it would last this long and have such an effect on my life the way it has.
No, it's great. And, we're talking about internships and unpaid internships, but I really do feel that is how you commit yourself, you get your foot into the door. So where were you, Brian, though? What college were you at?
So I moved around a lot as a kid. I was born in Wisconsin and moved around 8 times, I think, total, including a stop in Canada in the greater Toronto area. But my last stop, my last 2 years of high school, I spent in Virginia Beach, Virginia, which was great. And instead of going back north, I elected to go south. I went to East Carolina University in Greenville, North Carolina, and go Pirates. And attended there and worked in communications, school, newspaper, all that kind of stuff, and then ended up playing on the club hockey team as well.
Wow, so Sonya's from South Carolina, and so were you in a military family as well? Is that why you moved around so much, Brian?
No, my dad just moved around a lot on business. He worked for an American company that had Canadian operations, so that's why we lived in Canada. He headed up their Canadian operations, so we lived there for a while. And then ended up in Chicago for the longest portion of my formative years up until right after my sophomore year of high school. So that's kind of where I had my longest run before coming in Tampa, which is now I've lived here longer than I've lived anywhere else. So
I know, I love Tampa too. So I just wanted to get some background. That's why I love podcasts. You can talk about everything and anything. So Sonya, let's get your background now. A little bit. So, you're from South Carolina.
I am.
All right. So, and thank you so much for your service and your husband's service to this country. So, tell us about you.
Well, I grew up in Greenville, South Carolina, to 2 hardworking parents who gave us a really good start in life. One of the biggest things that I always like to tell people about my parents is they never said can't. They never said no to the aspirations that we had. So if we wanted to do something, they tried to get behind us 100%. So with that, going into the military, that was great because I never saw a task as something that I couldn't do, and including the military. So doing that for 20 years. I started singing while I was in the military around 2003. So I sang the anthem for ceremonies and events for about 12 years while I was active duty. And towards the end of that is when I got hooked up with the Lightning.
Okay, so we're dying to hear. So now so Brian, did you find Sonya? Sonya, did you find the Lightning? How did it happen? Tell us.
Well, it was through John Franzone. John Franzone, that's over production. He and I met at a Bucks game, believe it or not. And my command chief that for MacDill Air Force Base happened to be in the suite with us. And he was like my agent. And he told John, if you don't have her come sing for you, you're crazy. And so John said, okay, come by on Tuesday. I'll never forget his words. Come by on Tuesday and we'll do an audition. So we got there and I'm looking around thinking, okay, there must be other people who are going to audition as well. But there was only me, so he took me up to the crow's nest with Christoph. Christoph found my key, and I've been singing for them ever since.
That's amazing. So Brian, okay, you weigh in on that. I mean, you know, I know right now you're in your office, but you do travel with the team typically, and we're going to talk about, you know, COVID and its impact. Talk to me about like how you feel and how the players feel like when she sings. I mean, the fans, you know, I don't know, it just gives me goosebumps every time I hear it.
Yeah, I mean, we'll start with the fans. I think the fans, and Sonya can probably attest to this, but I think the fans have a great big connection with her whenever she's singing, and she's, you know, almost a spokesperson for the fans and the team in the community. I know she does a number of other events around and is usually wearing her Lightning jersey. When she's not singing, the players are always wondering where Sonya is, what's going on with Sonya. If she's when she takes a little bit of a hiatus from time to time when she needs to. So guys definitely know that she's there and are always really excited to hear her sing, and it helps get them pumped up. It's part of the Lightning game day experience. And I will say, in like attending a number of games, I've been to every NHL arena. I've been around long enough and been fortunate enough to travel around to all the arenas. And Sonya's got to be one of the tops in the league without a doubt. And I think a lot of our other staff and players would agree.
Thank you, Brian.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, so Brian, I love the fact that when you can, you always sing, you know, for the team, except for the hiatuses that you mentioned, family vacations, you know, things like that. Typically in the league, do they designate one person to sing, or is it usually, do they alternate people out? Do you know?
It depends on the team. I mean, obviously, I can't speak officially for all the teams, but as far as I can tell, there are a number of teams that have one dedicated person for the most part, but a few seem to have a different person and rotate people in and out. But there are some people, you know, Boston, Philadelphia, that have the same person that's almost, you know, a personality with the team,
So
just like Sonya's.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you too, do you feel, and I know, I mean, we're just asking like general questions because I know you can't be, you know, like just from your observation and your experience, do you feel that it is great, like, you know, you have one mascot, right? So that fans and players can associate with the same person singing. Do you think that builds the momentum for the games?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's why it works out so well with Sonya, because it's part of the Lightning experience. You know, it's when you come to a game, you're going to see Sonya, you're going to hear Christoph, the Lightning Tesla coils are going to go off, and hopefully we come out with a W. We've been lucky enough to be doing a lot of that here recently. But even if we don't, you still had a great experience, and it's worth your time and effort.
So speaking of that, so Sonya, describe for us what that is like. Okay, so how do you get to the games early? Do you wear certain things? I love the blue in your hair, by the way.
Thank you.
I mean, as Brian said, you're always around with a jersey. Is this your favorite number? Is it your favorite player? I mean, talk to us about your routine.
Well, I have a favorite player. My favorite player is Vasilevsky. Brian knows that.
It's Sammy's too, my 13-year-old.
But I wear 67 because that's the year I was born.
Oh.
So I've worn 67 since they started giving me a jersey. So that's the key for that. My day begins 2 hours prior to game time. That's when I show up for sound check. So we come in, typically I'm in street clothes at that point, do my sound check, and then I take about 45 minutes, I know that sounds like a long time, to put on my makeup and kind of have me time to kind of get in my zone. And then once I'm out there in front of the lights, it's on time.
Wow. So, okay, you said the 45 minutes to put on the makeup. And so, and to get into your zone, what is your zone? Is it a peaceful zone?
Yes.
Or what is the zone?
I try to get quiet because my husband and I listen to an oldie station on the way. He drives me everywhere I go, and I love him for that.
Sweet.
But we listen to oldies on the way, so I like to try to get all of that out of my head. So I just get in that little peaceful zone where, you know, I don't have much coming in, and all I can think about is what I'm going to put out.
You know, sometimes, I mean, almost every time, I honestly get like tears in my eyes when I hear the national anthem, and especially at a sporting event, you know? So when you're singing, are you looking at the crowd? Are you closing? I mean, I know your eyes are open because I've watched you, of course, but do you see the faces? You know what I mean? No.
I don't. I'm so in a zone. I've heard people tell me, I scream your name as soon as they announce you. I don't hear all of that. I'm in such a zone, especially when I was down on the ice, because to me, it's necessary to focus on the task at hand and not on the things that are around you at that moment. So, and then the other thing is you want to emote that which the anthem should bring out of you. I want to put into it what you will receive. So when you're feeling those goosies, it's because I'm feeling that feeling on the inside. I love my nation. You know, I served my nation, and I want you to feel that same feeling that I am.
Well, boy, girl, let me tell you, you give it, because I feel it every time. So, Brian, before we go to a break, because after we come back from the break, I want to talk about, you know, just this unprecedented time we've lived in. But for you, you've gone, of course, to so many games. You're there with the team. How does it make you feel when Sonya sings? And, you know, like watching the players, do you see their reaction as well? I know we talked about the fans, but how do you personally feel?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, like I said, like I have the honor and the privilege of listening to Sonya 41 times during a regular season. Hopefully more if we make the playoffs and go on extended runs. And same thing you said, goosebumps every time. I know our goalie coach Franjean, we usually sit together in the press box, and we always comment how we're excited to hear Sonya sing. So. As far as the players, I'm not on the bench, so it's hard for me to say exactly what they're thinking at the moment, but I know that they do enjoy listening to her sing every game.
The team's a class act, too. I mean, those guys are so awesome.
They
and
are.
Thanks to Brian, you know, I've actually, prior to COVID, you know, because Sammy, my 13-year-old, is such a huge fan. We've gone to the practices, and, you know, she's forever grateful to you, by the way, Brian Breseman. And as her mom, I am grateful to you for doing that. We're going to just take a quick break, and we're going to come right back. I'm Sarina Fazan, and like most people, my skin is a priority. When you look good, you feel good. That's why I turned to South Tampa Dermatology, a full-service medical and cosmetic dermatology practice. Dr. Flynn and her dream team offer the products, services, and procedures I need to keep my skin healthy so I can perform at my very best. And they can do the very same thing for you. It's affordable, and your confidence is priceless. Just head to stderm.com or call 813-872-9551 to make an appointment. Hi guys, welcome back to On the Record. I'm here with Brian Breseman, Senior Director of Broadcast Programming, Communications, and Broadcasting, but I didn't do the right order. Sonya Bryson-Kirksey, but right now, who's the voice, sings the national anthem. Right now, we're looking at video of the team. And Brian, I want to go to you. So talk to us about, you know, I talked earlier in the show on how you worked your way in with the Lightning. You started with an unpaid internship. But tell us, I mean, you are the guy that brings all the media together. Just describe your job. I mean, it's such a cool job and a lot of responsibility. And modesty aside.
Yeah, I mean,
Modesty aside.
what's that?
I said modesty
What was that?
aside.
Oh, yeah, I mean, in a grander view, I guess our role in our department is to serve as the business liaison for the team itself. So basically, I look at it as we're the bottom of the funnel for the rest of the world that's looking to access the team. So obviously, the biggest part of that is media and broadcasting. So dealing with the media every day. Obviously, the current situation has presented a number of challenges as it pertains to how we interact with media and try and generate positive stories about the club. I think we've done that, and the league has put forth a pretty good roadmap as a way to do that. Obviously, as well, broadcasting has changed. We can't have big crews, in the arena and in the areas that they would normally do. The way we execute walk-off interviews and all that kind of stuff has changed. The way we, even doing, signings for the organization, signing, hats, jerseys, pucks, so on and so forth. Even that has changed. So it's been a different and challenging time in more ways than one, and it's been fun to try and navigate through it. I know I kind of went on a tangent there about the current state of things, but that's kind of what we do. Anything the players and coaches, management are doing something that that isn't actually hockey related, it's usually run through. That includes our alumni and broadcasters as well.
Well, I mean, I think we have such great respect for the Lightning and for hockey. The decision of moving all the teams during the COVID crisis and having them play and without their families. Can you talk to us, Bri, about, I can't even imagine all the conversations that went into that. And did you travel with them at the time to Canada?
Yeah, it was a decision that was made by the league. I mean, specifically for, the Lightning and Tampa as a region, we attempted, it's documented that we attempted to try and be one of the bubble cities. Obviously, that didn't work out. And they went with Toronto and Edmonton at the time. That was a league decision, so I can't really speak on those decisions. Me personally, I did not. Trevor Van Notzenberg from our team went up there and did a fantastic job handling a lot of the needs and stuff the organization, whether it was recording cell phone videos with the players or executing interviews for our behind the scenes show, The Recharge. He basically became, we really only got one spot, so he basically ended up being the PR guy, the content collector, pretty much everything that we needed done. He was kind of the guy. So as we talked again about a strange and challenging time, and that was obviously part of it. It was a heck of a ride. They were there for a very long amount of time. I know we did a lot to try and make it feel as home as much as possible, and obviously it worked because we ended up winning the cup. So I guess if you're going to spend that much time away, the best way to end it is to come away with the big silver trophy. So.
Well, okay, so when that, that was so amazing. How were you both, because you're both so close to the team, right? Mm-hmm. So, my gosh, was this like, I can't believe this is happening? You both, do you want to start, Sonya, on how you were feeling? You said that you actually, it's on DVR too, and you go back and you watch it.
I do. That particular night, they had a watch party at the Amalie for close STMs and friends and family, and we were there watching it on the Jumbotron, and as the seconds ticked off towards the end, tears just ran down my face. You know, my husband was like, "Are you crying?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm crying because I love my team and I'm so happy for them because this is something they've been, you know, trying to do for a long time." And it just meant the world to me to see them win. It's just like your children, you know, winning something, you know, for the first time or graduating from high school or something. It made me feel so proud, just so proud of my team.
And Brian, don't you think especially during this unprecedented time and, you know, COVID and all of us are dealing with so much, that this was even beyond a championship? You know, it really affected the emotional side. Would you agree with that, Brian?
Yeah, and I think that was reflected in like the boat parade that we had and everything, all the support that we had when the team came back. It was obviously a difficult time for a lot of people, and not that sports is going to make everything okay, but even if it, you know, gave a little bit of solace to somebody that was having a difficult time, I think it was well worth it.
I know. I mean, you know, as I said earlier, I think sports galvanizes a community. I mean, it gives you something to cheer on, right? So, Brian, when you were also talking about, though, how things have changed and, you know, the way interviews are done, the way media is handled, so that, of course, is still continuing. Maybe not to the degree that it was a year ago, but do you see that just continuing from this point out? Do you think it will ever get back to the way it was?
Yeah, I mean, I think this season, I think everything will be status quo. You know, everything from a distance. Hope maybe that changes as people start to get vaccinated. More people are getting vaccinated, but I think we're really starting to look at what next season is going to look like. I know a lot of people are fans and people are focused on this season, but we have to start thinking about what next season is possibly going to look like and plan for that. And we're hopeful that hopefully that'll be the time when we really start to see a little bit of more normalcy coming into the game and the arena.
For those people who may not know, what does going to a game this season entail?
Yeah, I mean, we have it on the Amalie Arena website. You can go on there. We have a full health and safety plan that's there. Obviously, social distancing. Our capacity at the arena is 3,800 right now, so it's obviously very socially distanced. Hand sanitizer pretty much everywhere you go. You can't go 5 feet without being able to sanitize your hands. Even, you know, in the bathrooms, all the facilities are all spaced out, sinks, all that kind of thing. Certain concession stands, we have plastic for all the lines that are going through. So I mean, there's everything's been thought of, even things that you can't see, like the HVAC system is, you know, purifying air ionics system. You don't want me to try and talk about the actual specifics of it, but I know that we're also one of the few dual certified buildings, not only in the state but in the country, just for our health and safety protocols. So we're really proud of the system that we put together, and hopefully fans, when they do come to the arena, if they're able to come to the arena, feel safe and enjoy their experience.
No, you guys are the best. I mean, everything you do, the players, the arena, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, everything that you do is so awesome. I'm so proud of Tampa, and I'm so proud of the Lightning. Yes. Not, you know, but of course the championship, but just in general. I mean, class acts all the way around. Mm-hmm. Don't you both think, though, isn't it great that at least, even if we're not fully open, that it's open and people can at least go and watch and, you know, or even be outside? I think, don't you think so, Sonya?
Absolutely, absolutely. When they were in the bubble in Canada, people were, you know, they were on their team, they were rooting for them, but they really wanted to be there, you know. So being home now and having them within our grasp, not actually to touch, but they're around us, you know, it just feels better. It feels better to know that they're right here with us now.
That's exactly it. I know. And then at least they're here, right? Well, guys, I so appreciate you both coming on. Do you, either of you have any final thoughts, anything you would like to add before we wrap up the show?
I'm good.
I just say thanks for having us, and hopefully we'll have you and Sammy to a practice soon.
Yay! And he put that on the record. We've got to show this to Sammy. Sonya, thanks so much. I don't suppose you want to close out the show with maybe a little like something. No.
I'm good.
Oh, I have to ask. I mean, if I did, I would be remiss not to ask. All right. Thank you, everyone, so much for watching. We so appreciate it. You can follow me on all my social media platforms. And please, we love getting ideas on who we should have on the show. In fact, Brian and Sonya were a request. I fulfilled a request. Yay! All right. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great day.